Well, hello guys, another Sunday, another podcast. This is Kim Anodingo with Relationship Matters. Well, baby, what do you have to say this lovely Sunday?
I'd just like to say welcome to one and all. Welcome to some new listeners, apparently.
Oh, yes.
Welcome.
Yes.
And I hope you enjoy, as you have been enjoying. I hope you continue to enjoy and you find the subject this week interesting, and you continue to tune in and enjoy our podcast.
And talking about the subject for this week, we are talking about forgiveness. Now, baby, that's huge. Forgiveness.
Well, I totally agree.
Yeah, forgiveness.
Now, this podcast is a big people's podcast.
Oh,
it's a grown-ups kind of podcast.
Yes.
We are dealing with relationship matters, not relationship mattering, not relationship muttering. We are dealing with relationship matters.
Yes.
And all aspects of that. And we can all agree, as big people, over 18.
Yeah.
And some people just under 18 and still believe that they are big people who are still who are in a relationship. There is everything about a relationship is not pretty. Everything about relationships are
not
not
a bed of roses
straightforward.
all the time.
It's not.
No.
It's not. So I think it is best that we just dive straight in.
Forgiveness. So
Forgiveness.
Mr. Jackson, I'm going to let you lead on this because exactly what do you mean when you tell today's topic? What do you mean by forgiveness? Is it forgiving somebody who's done you wrong in the past? Is it learning to forgive I don't know. Enlighten us.
Right. Well, you see, in my experience, and also from various conversations with a diversity of different individuals, both male and female, it has dawned upon me that forgiveness is a very, very, very big and an important subject in a relationship. So it can be you forgiving someone who's done you dirty, or it can be you forgiving yourself.
Oh, wow.
For just being human.
That's powerful. Forgiving yourself for just being human.
For just being human. Yeah? So I would like for us, I'm thinking that we could probably split this in two. But at the moment, I think it might be fair and reasonable for us to look at it just generally. It's unfortunate in a relationship when you exit a relationship and you've now entered a new relationship and someone did you wrong.
From the last relationship.
From the previous relationship.
Previous relationship.
Or the previous relationships.
Okay.
Because often we are hit with experiences from different people who might not have been in the best place in their lives.
Okay.
Or you might not have been in the best place in your life. And the relationship ended on a bad note.
Baby, I think I understand exactly where you're going with this.
Right.
Yes.
You see?
Yes. So you are coming from a bad relationship in the past, or like you said, of bad relationships, but maybe you have not forgiven the people who did you wrong, or forgiven yourself, and you've entered into a new relationship. You still have lots of hate, you still have unforgiveness,
bitterness,
you still have bitterness,
right? And
now this is now affecting your current relationship, obviously,
right. But I'm not speaking from the perspective of just walking out of a relationship, leaving the old relationship behind, just dropping it and saying, well, I forgive that person and what is done, and all is forgiven, because that is not being honest with yourself.
Yes, that's true.
I'm speaking from a place of sitting down and assessing and reflecting and understanding that all of the events in the past relationship might not have entirely been the other person's fault.
Okay.
They might have been going through more than they've said. They might have had a lot of growth and development to do. You might not have been completely forthcoming with that person.
Yes.
And sometimes we believe that we are all innocent when we are not. And you might have triggered that person
Wow.
to do you wrong, not
That's-
intentionally.
That's interesting.
Not
yes.
intentionally, because I know when I review certain situations in my past, I was not 100% with a lot of people, and when they might have turned on me, it was not because that person was a nasty person. I might have triggered that person innocently.
Oh, wow.
Innocently.
Yeah.
And that person, I believe, did me wrong, did me dirty. And it is only through growth and maturity that I could have reflected. And when I say forgiving someone else for what they might have done to you, or what you perceive. Because sometimes if you look at something and you really peel the layers away from it, and you look at it and you say, this person did me something, that person probably and often would have done you a favor.
My goodness. And
You
sometimes
see?
you don't even realize they're doing you a favor.
That's what it is. So I'm speaking about forgiveness. Are you
Yeah.
forgiving something or someone or some people in the past? Because this is what would allow you to open up your eyes to the potential of your future relationships.
Okay.
And I'm speaking from that perspective because it could be one of the greatest gifts you give yourself.
I
To
understand.
look on your past relationship or relationships as an education and not as a whip.
That is so important. I think I was having this conversation with my son this week when he was telling me about his little girlfriend, and he was like, "Oh, mommy, I wish I never met this person."
Right.
And I was saying to him, "What did you learn from that?" Everybody comes into our life, and they leave us with something. They leave us with a lesson.
Of course.
So what was the lesson that was learned?
But it's difficult.
Because it's not always. It's very difficult at the time to see that. But
In your
now,
pain.
yeah, in your pain,
In
it
your
is
pain.
difficult to see the lesson. But now that I have gotten older and wiser, you understand? And I was able to now tell my son, who is now, a young little lad trying to have a little girlfriend, and, and explaining to him, listen, you're going to have broken relationships.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But what did you learn from that? What did that person teach you?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because he sat down and he went,
He had a thing.
he had a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just triggered him
Yeah.
to now begin the education process from his experience.
Exactly.
And that is what this podcast is about. We might be a bit entertaining, but we always aim to educate.
Of course.
We always aim to expand your horizon, because our horizon have been expanded with our own experiences. It has been enlightened with the experiences of others who would have shared with us. We would have read, we would have learned so much from each other as
Of
well.
course.
So we just believe that we could use these opportunities to expand and pour into someone else's
Because
life.
you never know what somebody is going through. Somebody could be at the end of their ropes in
Oh,
their
yeah, of course,
relationship.
of course.
And it could be that you haven't forgiven yourself for something that you are holding on. Sometimes we need to let go. And it's very, very difficult. It's more or less like you're holding on to the past. And sometimes you are not doing yourself any justice by holding on to something. Somebody did me wrong. Or they were so mean to me and they did this to me. And you're still not able to forgive, especially in situations whereby you constantly, sometimes we finish with somebody and we move on. Sadly, we have people who still have to see the exes every so often.
Of course.
So how do you deal with that? Because now you have a child with this person. They've done you wrong. And every weekend or whenever your visit is due, you still have to face this person. You understand? You still have to communicate with the person who have done you wrong for the sake of your child. And every time you see them, it's like, oh my God, I don't be we're doing this all over again.
It's like the wound is still fresh.
It is still fresh.
The wound is still fresh.
And how do you heal from that? How do you become how do you become civil?
we
How
move
can
on.
for the sake of the child, for the sake of yourself, for your
Of course.
wellness, for your mental
course, of
health?
course. Oh,
you
yes.
understand? Your mental health is very important.
Very important.
Because you could be emotionally broken.
Oh, yes.
So for you to be able to move on with your life, you
yes.
need to forgive yourself first. You understand? You know, whatever was done wrong, like you're saying, sometimes you are the cause, or sometimes you contribute to the brokenness of your previous relationship.
Of course.
Because we like to play the blaming game. Oh, well, it was all your fault,
Well,
and you did this to me, and you did that to me. But maybe I did something wrong as well. And like you said, it's about acknowledging things afterwards when you're having that self-evaluation time, when you're having that one-to-one time with yourself, and acknowledging, listen, I played a part in that as well. I played a major role in that as well. I said things that I shouldn't have said as well.
Oh, yes.
I did things that I shouldn't have done also. And learning to forgive yourself and forgiving that person, because it's so important to forgive that person for you to move
Valuable.
on.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that makes it, listen, people will not
The value
understand.
frees
You
you.
know, the
That
Bible
frees
talks
you.
about that peace which surpasses all understanding.
Oh,
You
yes.
understand? That other person, now you're coming to maybe bring the child back, collect your child, and then you're so peaceful within yourself because they still thinking you know, like they have you. You're so bitter. And now you're coming around them and you're so peaceful. You could actually say good morning. How was your day? You could actually have a smile on your face. You are not even bothered by their presence. And some people can't deal with that. It's like, how comes they're not upset? How comes it? Because some people actually, you know, they find it entertaining that they still bother you.
Of course.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They find it entertaining that their presence can still give you a bad day.
Well, it makes them believe that they're in control.
They're in control, exactly.
They're in control because
You know?
I have control over your emotional state. And when you give someone control over when you give someone control over your emotional state, you are giving them more power
That is
than
so
they are due.
powerful. It's true.
You're giving
My
them more
goodness,
power than
yeah.
they're due. So what you're saying to me is that I don't control myself, my emotional state. I'm giving that over to you. Now, could you imagine that we used to be together, we are no longer together, but yet you still have all of that authority over my life?
Because every time I come in your space, I have to be vexed. What
No,
am I getting vexed
you're
for?
giving, I'm giving you that authority
Oh
over my
God,
life.
It's so true.
When we're not in a relationship
We're not
anymore.
in a relationship
Yeah.
anymore. You know, I'm not supposed to be disturbed by your appearance. You know what I mean?
But some people would realize that and that's why I'm saying that's why forgiveness is so important, because it allows you to take back control of your emotional state.
And let it go.
You become who you need to be.
Who you need
are
to be,
you are now
yeah.
available and vacant to meet someone else or to meet who you need to meet or to be who God intends you to be.
Exactly.
You could never look back and see what is before you. You can never look back and see clearly where you need to go. So you have to look forward. You can't look forward while you're looking back. So you
Yeah.
have to forgive.
You have to forgive.
You
and
have
let
to
go,
forgive.
and let go.
You
of the
have to
past.
forgive. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to head towards a place where I'm going to say something that might be controversial.
Okay,
It might be obvious to some people, but
let's hear it.
I could forgive you, but that don't mean I need to have you in my life. I could forgive you
I totally agree with that,
and
though.
just make sure I keep you at arm's length and
Oh, yeah.
keep you out of my life. For me and for you. I could love you
from a distance.
from a distance.
Yes. And I think we need that sometimes. That is so powerful because people think, you know, you have to be enemies with people. I don't have to be your enemy.
But can I explain a little bit more? But
Yeah.
you're right, but I don't want to cut you.
Okay.
I want to explain something a little bit more.
Go on.
There are people who would have done you wrong, whether you played a part in it or not. You have a relationship and you're not together anymore. You still have to see this person. You still have to see these people for whatever reason. It might be a child, it might not be a child, whatever reason it is. Right. Now, some people will not ever stop trying to push you. So what do? I could listen. I could love you. I could forgive you, but I don't need to keep you in my life. I could love you. I could forgive you, but I still keep you. I give you a wide berth because you are determined to continue to push me.
Yeah.
You are determined to see how you can get me to that place where I don't want to go because you are suffering and you cannot make peace with yourself. Even if you've done me wrong, I've done you wrong, I've forgiven you. Until you can forgive me, you decide that you are going to make sure that you make my life a living hell.
Because I'm suffering, you're supposed to be suffering
exactly.
too.
I'm saying, be very careful.
Yeah.
Because you can forgive someone who will not ever forgive you for whatever reason and for your part you played, and they will continuously try to come at you and try to stir you and try to push you. So forgiveness don't mean that every time I see you I need to embrace you, I need to smile and laugh, and no, I can forgive you and keep you at arm's length for me and for you, because you need to grow for yourself. But after I've taken responsibility and I've taken the steps to heal, I don't need for you to come and begin to try to poke me in the process. Because forgiving someone, growing and healing is not easy.
No, it's not.
And it doesn't come
and
overnight.
It takes years. It takes years.
It can take years.
Oh my God, yes. Some people, it takes years for me to let go of a certain situation. That's why you were talking earlier on about the power that some people think they have over you. That's why forgiveness is so important. Because once I've forgiven you and I've forgiven myself, you no longer own that power. You no longer have that power over my life anymore.
And some people can't deal with that.
You understand? And that's why I'm talking about the peace that surpasses all understanding.
Oh, yes.
When you see me glowing now you're confused.
It's a problem. It's a problem.
You're
for some
confused
people.
because it's like, why is she so happy? Why he's so happy all the time? Why is she so cool? You're supposed to be miserable. Oh no, love, I've forgiven you a long time ago. I've let go of the past and I've moved on. Because at the end of the day, moving into a new relationship with all this hatred, all this spitefulness, all this bitterness, that is just a recipe for disaster.
No, but if you move into a relationship and what you're bringing in there is bitterness, the relationship cannot be sweet. It will only be bitter.
There you have it, baby. That's a nice
done.
one.
That's it. I think we could just wrap this up right now. I feel strongly that, listen, we are on the same path.
We are definitely on the same path.
But if you come into a relationship bitter, you bring bitterness in.
You bring bitterness
so
in.
if you want sweetness in a relationship, don't bring bitterness in it. Bring sweetness in it.
Yeah,
bring happiness, bring joy.
All the broken pieces behind.
Yeah.
But I think most importantly, moving forward, find healing for you first.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself first. Whoever has done you wrong, do not give them the power. Do not give them power over you. Do not allow their presence to intimidate you every time you see them or every time you have to deal with them. We're talking about people who constantly have to deal with baby mamas, baby dadas, or whatever they have to deal with. Listen, I still have to see you every time because I still have to bring my child to you. I still have to deal with you. We still have to talk about things pertaining to our child. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to allow your presence to contaminate me. You see what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah, so if I have forgiven myself for anything that I have done wrong in the past, and I have forgiven you for hurting me, it's a win-win.
Of course. And isn't that the goal?
It's a win-win.
That's the goal. That's the objective.
Yeah. Don't let anyone hold power or unnecessary power over your life.
Of course.
Let things go. You understand? Yeah. And like my husband was saying earlier on, sometimes we need to self-reflect. It's not always the other person's fault. if you are honest with yourself, you will see that you contributed as well.
In some
It
way.
takes two to make a relationship works.
Of course.
You understand? You know, maybe you could have done things better in terms of how things turned out to be. It is not always one person's fault. But if it is broken, it's broken. You move on. You understand? You forgive, and then you move on to the next level. It's that, for me, it's that simple. Easier said than done, isn't it?
It is easier said than done, but it's the goal. That's the
But
objective.
that's the goal.
That's the objective.
It's very much achievable.
When things don't go the way we want it to go, the goal is
Oh
to
my
not be
gosh.
bitter.
But I do understand
Be
what you're
honest.
saying, because I've been there before from personal experience. I mean, with exes, you know, the moment I get that phone call or I'm on the phone with them talking about something, it's like everything comes back again.
Yeah.
Oh my days, I could be having such a good day.
Oh, yes.
You understand? And one phone call can just and after the phone call is ended, I'm sitting here thinking, why did I allow you to do that to me?
Yeah.
Like, how did we get there? Like, I'm upset and you've gone, and I'm sure you're having a good laugh now because you know you've pissed me off.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just about learning to just let things go, forgive yourself, forgive the other person, move on. I hope you guys have been blessed with this message today. Thank you so much again for your time. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys back again next Sunday.
Have a
Thank
wonderful
you. Have a
week.
wonderful
Thank you so
week.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.